All right. Hey, everybody, this is Jeffrey Jansen. I will give everybody a few minutes to get on here. I am going live tonight for some motivation. I do not have my daughter tonight, she's not with me tonight. But I wanted to come on here and go over just a few things, since this one actually hits. I can't tell you how many this goes out to in the world, but I've got a lot of great people that have been following me on YouTube, and I actually am just going to give some advice on success and different things that you can do to get motivated. All right. The reason why I'm doing it is because I believe in each and every one of you. And I believe that if I'm not going to do it, then no one will. I'm one of those people that if it's going to get done, I need to do it. And one of the things I want to do is talk to each of you. First off, I want to let each and every one of you know that you matter and you're important, okay? And this is just my own personal stuff, my own personal belief system, my own personal, you know, to basically help you succeed in life and different things that you can do. For the first part, every day you need to get up and make your bed. Very simple, okay? If you want to have success in your life, you have to have one accomplishment. All right. Some other things that you can do is read 11 good pages of a book every day. I know a lot of people are always like, well, I don't want to read. I don't like to read. Reading actually can promote and excel your advancement in business. Okay, that's what you want to do. Not everybody's going to own their own business. Not everybody's going to, work at the same kind of jobs and work and everything else. But you got to understand that everybody in their own way is a hero. Everybody in their own way can accomplish whatever him or her want to do. They're great people, and that's who they are. So a couple things that you always got to remember to do is every day, and this is stuff I learned while I was in the Marine Corps. You got to get up and you got to, if you're a breakfast eater, eat breakfast. If not, make sure you brush your teeth, get your kids ready for school, whatever it is you got to do. Okay. Always tell your kids you're proud of them. Always tell your kids you love them. Make sure to give them hugs. Make sure to let them know that they're important. All right. So many people with how fast we go in life forget that. Another thing is people sometimes you need to turn off the news. They need to turn off social media. They need to turn off things because they're getting all this negativity fed in there. It doesn't matter if you're Republican, Democrat, Independent. It doesn't matter. It's all negative. And, it's one lie on top of the other. And, it turns brother against brother, sister against sister. I mean, it just gets really ugly. But they all know this is happening. They do it on purpose. That's why they do it. Sometimes you have to shut off the news. Read a good book. Read to your kids. Talk with your kids. Make supper again for your family. Things like that. If you want to get motivated and you want to get that job you always wanted, remember this. College kids getting out with their MBAs are making very little money. If you want to know how success works, look at where patterns merge. If you get out and become a welder, you can actually get a good welding job between $30 and $60 an hour with full benefits starting out. You just have to go to a technical school. You got to kind of learn how to weld. Okay, how about a mechanic? Mechanics make good money. How about a plumber? Plumbers make. Everybody thinks they need to go to college. That's false. Believe it or not, college kids are having a hard time, getting jobs when they get out right now. Why? Because our environment in almost anywhere in the world requires skilled labor. All right. So if you really want to get ahead in life, now maybe you own your own business. Okay, let's go down to that approach for a minute. You own your own business, okay? Whether it's a network marketing business or a restaurant. One of the things you always have to do if you want success is know the people around you. Don't expect your advertisements to work. Don't expect, mass marketing to work. You know what works? You. You telling people, talking to people, you going out of your way to promote what you have. You going out of your way to be there for people that have questions. Know your product, know your business, know the insides and out. I mean, look at for trucking, for example, okay? You can't just go become a truck driver. Yet they're America's heroes. Why are truckers America's heroes? Because they get behind a wheel, they pull the goods all over. But guess what? Truckers are in all these different countries. These countries work because of truck drivers. Without truck drivers, we would not have the Walmarts today. We would not have the Targets. We wouldn't have the McDonald's. I mean, we'd have versions of them. But the thing about it is, the reason why they work right now is because of our truck drivers, okay? You have to look at police officers and know that 99.9% of all police officers and law enforcement are actually really good people. Okay? It's always that 1% that ruins it for everybody else. But guess what? They're in charge of enforcing the laws. That's why they're heroes. Firefighters come when nobody else does. That's why they're heroes. Nurses are heroes. School teachers, janitorial heroes, garbage collectors. Everybody becomes a hero because they do the things that we either cannot do or refuse to do, okay? Today, I gave everybody an opportunity to go onto my Facebook page and post their businesses. Just something simple, free of charge. Just go post your business, and if anybody sees, they'll call you. It's funny how nobody, like very few people, I'm not going to say nobody, there was a lot, but very few people took me up on that offer. I have over 5,000 people. I have even a larger standing. It'd be very easy for them to maybe get a couple customers. You know, I don't know what they do. But I always promote small business. Why do I promote small business? Because I want small business to promote me. Never do anything you're not willing to do yourself. If I want something, I better be, like Zig Ziglar always says, be willing to do enough for others that they will help you in return. You're not going to get everybody to help you. You're going to get a lot of greedy people. That's okay. You know, I know people always put on comments and they're always negative. The reason why I don't, and I usually take off negative comments, is because to me, negativity only reinforces what success is. If you fail over and over and over again, but you change up your methods and eventually succeed, you'll understand how great success is. However, if you do the same thing over and over and do it the same way and expect different results, you'll never get there. I was explaining about a bag of popcorn. So you're with your family or maybe business. A bag of popcorn can explain a lot of things on how to do business or how to do stuff with your family, okay? Take a bag of popcorn, take it out, put it in the microwave, shut the microwave drawer, push 3 minutes. It says right on the bag, 3 minutes. The bag of popcorn is in the microwave. A minute and a half goes by, somebody goes to the door. You stop the microwave. You go answer the door, talk to your friend, you come back, you push the button again. All of a sudden the phone rings. You stop the microwave, you go answer the phone. You start it over and over and over. The reason why you have to keep starting it over is because it needs 3 full minutes, no interruptions whatsoever. But what happens when you get interruptions? Same thing that happens with our kids and business and networking and everything else. What happens? We get so preoccupied that our bag of popcorn, our success is never there because we quit on it each time before we make it there. Or we move on to a new project. We move on to something else, okay? People in religion are the same way. Oh, I didn't find my faith here. Why? Because you went to church once and you didn't like the, or you went to another church and, oh, you didn't like the people. Why are you so worried about what's around you instead of worried about what you're trying to accomplish and do? People are not all going to agree with you. They're not all going to want your success. They're not all going to be in your corner. But here's the thing. If you keep it up and you show consistency, pretty soon those that matter will pay attention. Why? Because you're putting forth a consistent effort to get things done. I was just talking about leadership the other day. Here's what makes a good leader. A leader will go to sleep last. A leader will eat last. A leader will wake up first. A leader would go hungry before anybody else goes hungry. Why? Because they will eat last. A leader is always in classes learning. A leader is always going back to the back to get as slowest person because you can only be as fast as the slowest person. And that goes along with a lot of scenarios. People nowadays, they like taking on manager. Manager to me, and this is not exactly, this is just an analogy. A manager is somebody that will tell people what to do but refuse to do it themselves. All right, it's kind of like that picture that went up where it shows a person whipping all the people in front of them to pull stones, you know, for the Great Pyramids. And they say that's a manager. A leader is the person that's in front with the same ropes around him pulling because they're not afraid to do. They never ask anybody to do anything they themselves are not willing to do or cannot do themselves. They will always go into the dark. They'll always go in blind. And that's said for like Olympic athletes and everything else. Do you know records? The only reason why records get broken is because somebody that did not listen to everybody that said that record would never be broken. The long jump's a good example. The long jump went freaking years before anybody broke the record. Why? Everybody said it just can't be done. It's humanly impossible. Until one man broke the record. Once he broke the record, then it got broken like 5 or 6 more times after that. He showed it was possible. Or running a mile. People are like, oh, you can never run a mile in X amount of times. You can never run a marathon until somebody does it. Then all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, it's doable. But they themselves weren't willing to do it. But the leader saw farther. The leader said, I'm not going to listen to you. Now, why are people negative towards business, towards family? A lot of times it's not their fault. What happens is they failed. Or they feel they said and they gave up. So they don't want you to fail. Or they don't want you to succeed because they gave up. One way or the other, they don't want you to accomplish anything because either they're scared that you're not or they're scared that you are. And that's how a lot of families are. It's not because they don't want it, but they don't want you They don't want you to go through the same thing that they went through. However, competitors don't want you to get ahead of them. So what they do is, oh my God, if he can do it, and then once you do it, they just feel like, oh, they don't have that excuse of nobody can do it anymore. Okay, think how America got built. Okay, look at the steel. Nobody could build until Dale Carnegie came along and they made U.S. Steel. Right? That's a good example. I'm sure it's been on TV how we built America, the way we build America, whatever it is. But a lot of people didn't know that where Dale Carnegie's success came from. As people talked to him, he would learn everybody's name. He would know. He'd become friends with people. So every time he went up to him, he would listen, and everybody thought that he was their best friend. Why? Because he listened. Okay, the book Chicken Soup for the Soul, good example. Listen to people. You don't have to say much to them. However, they're going to think that you said everything, and they're like, "Man, you're the best person ever," because all they want to do is talk about themselves, and that's great. And you know what? That's how Dale Carnegie got pretty much Carnegie Steel. Is he listened to people, learned their names, did a lot for others, and then he called in all of his favors. And he was able to create the steel, our industrial revolution. Why? Because now, for the first time, we could put out steel, commercially instead of all the other stuff that we were using. And over time, we've developed a lot. Once you tell yourself you can't do something, you never will. Why? Because you need to be able to tell yourself you can. You need to not listen to all the negativity. One of the biggest things I always tell people, go where you're celebrated, not tolerated. To me, tolerance is people in the drug world, or people that have addictions, or people that drink too much or gamble. Why? They need to get around people that feed their habit. They need to be around people that they can trash talk. Or drama. People that love drama, they need to constantly be telling negative stuff because it makes them feel better about themselves. What I tell people though is, if you're next to that person as they're trash talking people, and there's nobody left, who do you think they're going to start trash talking you? Okay, but if you get around them only to be their friend, but not to feed their addiction, eventually they may actually overcome their addiction and be glad that you were there, but they're going to understand why you walked away. Anyway, that being said, each and every one of you has the potential to do good in life. Each and every one of you has the potential of becoming a hero. Each and every one of you has the potential of doing what others have never done. The richest place in the world, and this is of all time, is the graveyard. In the graveyard, you have people that dreamt of fortunes. You have ideas that never got put down on paper. You have inventions that never got invented. You had cures that will never be cured. You had fortunes that will never be made. Why? Because people died before they ever took the chance to do anything. Because it was more important for, oh, I can't do it. They were so down on themselves, or they chose not to do it. And then they died. And those fortunes will never be found. But people that are living today have every opportunity in the world. The opportunity today is better than ever before in the entire world. Yes, there's dictatorships and socialism and communism and, republics and democracies and stuff like that. But there's not a time anywhere, and this is not a political thing. I could care less about Democrats, Republicans, independents, dictatorships, socialism. I could care less about that. But if you want something in life, then you need to prepare yourself to get it. And you need to be are you willing to do what it's worth? Are you willing to help enough people get what they want in order for them to help you get what you want? And you have to get rid of greed. You have to get rid of anger. I started these talks on Facebook a long time ago because of all the PTSD and the suicides from military and stuff. I just, people that have PTSD and depression, they're not going to reach out. And I have had one person at one time, oh, if they want help, no, they won't. They don't want to be a burden on them. They don't want to be a burden on their family. They don't want to be a burden on society. And eventually they take their life. Some people are just very, very alone. And I was explaining on the other one about my grandmother. All she wanted me to do was visit with her. All she wanted to do is have time with me because she was alone. And I always came up with excuses as a teenager why I couldn't. Or I couldn't, or she'd say, how did school today? Oh, it was fine. I gave one-word answers. Looking back, hindsight's always the way we look at things. I wish I would have spent more time with her, you know. I wish I would have went over and visited with her more. My other grandma, you know, she was alone also, and guess what? She used to talk to telemarketers on the phone and buy stuff just so she could fill that emptiness, that alone feeling. So when I tell people all this stuff we're doing, you know, sometimes you can adjust it to just go talk to a neighbor, be kind, say hi. Yes, there's rude people out there. Yes, there's immature people out there. Yes, there's people that'll even comment stupid things on this. But here's the thing. If you do something for enough people, you feel good inside. Never ask for money. Do things that, and ask nothing in return. And if you're doing it thinking, if I ask nothing, I'm going to get a lot, you're still asking for something in return. You don't have to be religious to be a good person. You don't have to have a faith to be a kind person. You don't have to be a role model to be a good person. All it takes to make a difference in somebody's life is to be a good person. Maybe help an old lady cross the street. You know, we used to say that all. You know, dream more. You know, go after your dreams. What do you want in life? And if whatever you're doing right now will not achieve that, then change what you're doing. Do something different. But if you're doing the same thing over and over again, it's never going to change. Going back to the bag of popcorn. If you keep turning it off before it hits 3 minutes, it will never pop. Whether it's trying to be there for friends, putting things off till tomorrow, oh, I'll do that later, or maybe next week, or we'll do it at Christmas time. Or maybe it's a job, and you're trying to go in for a job application, and you go in looking like a scrub, okay, you know, holes in your jeans. Of course you're not going to get the job, all right? You have to prepare for that. But when you go in, have confidence in yourself. Look at yourself every day. When you stop laughing at yourself every day in the mirror, when you're talking to yourself, is when you finally will have a fighting chance. Because you got to get past the embarrassment. You have to get past, you know, because nobody else is looking. Nobody else cares except you. And if you go out there and you help enough people and never ask anything in return, eventually one day when you need somebody, they will be there. Why? Because you were there for somebody else, which means there's other people going to be like you that'll eventually help you. And that's the mindset you got to get in. Not this, I'm the only one that does it. No. If you do it with 6 billion people on this planet, others are going to do it also. And eventually it's going to pay off because they're going to do it for you. And you're going to be grateful. You're going to be kind. Going to what success is. Going into what success is now. Success means you have to fail. Simple as that. Failure is part of success. If you do not fail, then success means nothing. If you do not go to race, but you get the medal at the end, it means nothing. If you're in a soccer game, it's a tie game, and everybody gets medals, it means nothing. There's always got to be somebody that loses. Why? Because it motivates them to do better, to try harder, to push themselves more. Okay? When you're running a 100-meter dash, or you're doing hurdles, or doing the mile run, all right, and you come in third or fourth, well, what do? You go push yourself harder. Next time you're going to come in first or second. You're going to push yourself harder. Next time you're going to break a record. You have to keep pushing yourself. You have to accept defeat, and you have to accept failure in order to get to success. Because if all you do is have success, it means nothing. You know, if like people that inherit money, or people that have trust fund babies, or people that grew up with a golden spoon, they don't understand poverty because they never known it. So how can they enjoy their wealth? They don't. That's the reason why there are more millionaires and billionaires with depression, is because they don't enjoy what they have, because they've never had the chance. Why do poor people seem to be happier most of the time? Because when we achieve something, it means something. When we get an extra $100 because we worked hard for it, it means something. I'll go one step further. You're a teenage kid, and for your birthday you get 20 bucks. Okay. You go cut your grandma's yard, she gives you 20 bucks. It's still 20 bucks, right? But for some reason, the 20 bucks that was given and not earned, you can go out and spend. The other 20, oh heck no, I earned that. That's my babysitting money. That's my grass cutting money. What's the difference in the two? There isn't any difference other than one you worked for and the other one was given. When you earn stuff and you work for stuff and you put all your effort into it, that's success. That $20 was the equivalent of success. Why? Because you did a task, you did a job, and it was awesome, and you got it done, you got rewarded for it. That's what work is all about. That's what business is all about. If you want to go into business for yourself, okay, but you give up, of course you're going to feel like you're not successful. But if you go into business for yourself and you work and work and work and fail, but do it again and fail and do it again and hit rock bottom, then you have a platform to launch yourself up. Why? Because there's no thing lower than bottom. And you can push up from there because you learned. And as you're learning, eventually you'll have success. That's why people that when they're in their 50s and 60s find true success. They actually find a true meaning to what they're doing. Why? Because they worked their entire life. They tried different things. They kept working, and finally they figured it out. Or they finally did something with enough consistency. They finally popped their bag of popcorn. They didn't stop at this time. That comes with time. That comes with maturity. Eventually, you're going to understand. I got to keep it in for 3 minutes. I can go answer the door and leave it running. I can go answer the phone and leave it running. I can multitask because I cannot shut that microwave off. Because if I do, I will not get that buttery goodness. I will not smell that popcorn. And in life, if you do not commit to something, if you do not have consistency, if you do not keep going to the job interviews or going for the next position or going for college or going for the extra credits, you're never going to get them. It doesn't matter how much you wish and pray for stuff. You're not going to get it. But you will with hard work and effort. And that's what it's all about. Be kind. Know you're important. Every day, know you're important. Every day, know that you matter. Never ask anything in return from anybody. One day when you die, or one day when you're close to death, you're going to realize you did a lot of good for people. They don't know you did it, but you do. And that's what matters. If you're somebody that needs extra success in life and extra money in life, there are ways of doing it. But you have to be willing to take on everything to do it. You need to be willing to put in what it takes. If you want to be a good parent, you need to spend time with your kids. It doesn't matter what else is going on. You need to be there at certain times. You don't got to be there all the time, but you have to be there when it matters, when it's important. You need to teach and educate your kids. You need to tell them you're proud of them. You need to teach them you love them. You need to call up your parents. You need to call up your family members, your sisters and brothers, and let them know you care. And this is a universal talk. Because you, yes, you, I'm looking right at you right now. You matter. You're important. Your religion, your faith, your creed, your culture, your ethnicity, they do not define you. Your sexuality does not define you. What defines you is how you carry yourself, what you're willing to do, and what you're willing to take on in order to accomplish success. Some people call it goals. Some people give up when they're in the middle of the race because they don't see the starting line or the finish line. But there is a finish line. But the best time is not when you're born and not when you die. It's in between. So life is just a race. And you must go after what you want because we're not guaranteed tomorrow. We're not guaranteed the rest of the week. Some people could get in an accident by a drunk driver tonight. Every day somebody's dying. But that's part of life. But you know what is also part of life? You being able to change who you are and what you do for the better. You being able to make a difference in somebody's life and never knowing it. I would rather keep trying every day and never know than do nothing at all and know for fact I never made a difference. Something like this, I feel like I want to make a difference in somebody's life. And I'm hoping that someday it does, but I'm never going to know until the day I die. And even then I might not know, but who cares? It makes me feel good. Each and every one of you matter. Know who heroes are in life. Know that you can make a difference. And please be kind. You are important. I'm Jeffrey Jansen. I hope and pray each and every one of you have a great evening. Thank you for your time tonight. I really do appreciate it. Usually I have a more structured talk, but tonight I just want to speak from the heart. I just want to let you know things you can do to make a difference in your life and the lives of people around you. Join a group, join a charity, go volunteer. Whatever it is you have to do in order to be a better person for yourself by doing something for others and ask nothing in return. I'm Jeff. I hope you all have a great evening. Thank you for spending time with me tonight. And like I said, Gracie's not here tonight. She's with her mom. But that's okay. I know they're having a good time. All right, everybody. Have a good night, everybody. Leave your comments below. And like I said, you're awesome. Have a good one.